Hey there, folks. Thank you for joining us here at the Phoenix Aurelius Research Academy for our September lab update. September was a really busy month. We had lots of things going on. One of the first things that comes to mind is our new bottles and our new labels. All 5 and 15 mil. Well, first of all, we got rid of a 4 mil size, which was a 1 gram amber. We ended up upgrading that to a 5 mil size, no increase of cost to our customer base. So 5 mil size and 15 mil size are now shipping in the most premium glass available on planet Earth. It's called Marone Dark Violet Glass. It filters out everything except for infrared and UV rays, higher end of the spectrum, preserves things for a lot longer, no photo degradation, plus it's a nice thick glass, and most importantly to us, doesn't allow for any evaporation. We also changed standard dropper tops and orifice reducer options. They all come standard now with a spray cap, and the sprays are awesome because our standard dosage of most of our spagyric tinctures was 3 drops, unless you have a spagyric application analysis that says otherwise. 1 single spray equals 3 drops, but now it atomizes it, it gets it under the tongue in very tiny droplets, helps to increase the absorption rate. So we're very excited about that. And of course, the labels needed to be adapted to the new bottle size, so they are shorter in their vertical height but longer in their horizontal width, and this creates a slightly better looking product. Actually, in my opinion, it was a lot of work over here on our end to get all these things done, because we take care of 100% of our labels in-house, both the design as well as cutting and manufacturing and things like that. So that was one big thing. Also, some of you who have received some packages recently may have noticed that there are Phoenix Aurelius stamps actually on the boxes that you've got. That's going to be a thing that we continue to do here on out. We just got a rubber stamp with our little PA logo, and that's really cool. So there's a little bit of pizzazz that has been added to all of our branding and packaging recently, and we're really excited about that. Earlier in the month, I went to Scott's Fest with my brother, and I also met up with our our office manager, Rebecca Potter, there. And we had a great time. It was really awesome. It's the nation's largest and longest going Scotch and Irish Heritage Festival, so it was super awesome. Got to see Seamus Kennedy, who is one of my very favorite comedians and performers, and a couple of other people live. Unfortunately, my very favorite band, Old Blind Dogs, was not able to attend, or just ended up canceling at the last minute, so I wasn't able to see them. That was kind of a disappointment, but being able to see Rebecca in person was really awesome, because she manages our office from offsite. So that was a really cool highlight of the month. We also started producing liposomal vitamin C again as of September 21st. We've already sold tons and tons and tons of bottles. We have actually increased our capacity to be able to produce our liposomal products in-house. And we're getting ready to start offering our spagyrisomal vitamin C again. Those of you who have been with us at the Phoenix Aurelius Research Academy since about 2015, you will know that the spagyrisomal vitamin C was the first form that I actually started making, and was only available in like 50 bottle batches, I think twice a year. I think 4 times a year was the max that I had ever done that before COVID hit. And because the drastic increase of requests came in for us to be able to produce that, we had to be able to do something to respond to that. And so what we ended up doing was, instead of doing spagyric tincture of lemon peel as the entire ethanol content, we just started using pure ethanol, and that's made it possible for us to actually keep up with the demand and keep up with the requests that we have to produce a good, high quality, completely organic liposomal product. But we are going to keep the liposomal vitamin C in stock. That will stay at its current price of $100 per 16-ounce bottle. That will ship in an amber bottle. But we are creating our ultra premium product back in stock. It will be a slight increase in volume, from 473 mils, which is 16 ounces, to 500 mils. We also have that in Marone glass that we'll be providing. And we've got some cool premium upgrades for that too. It ships with a standard cap, but then you can also buy a pump top, and the pump top is really awesome because it dispenses precisely 5 mils of the fluid per pump, and so it's really easy to dose, and then you don't have any of the problem with the gumming up around the lid, which is one of the things that causes the liposomal vitamin C product as it currently ships to kind of fall out of suspension and to crystallize again, and a couple of those other unsavory aspects that we just wanted to completely eliminate. And again, the spagyrizomal vitamin C and the liposomal vitamin C are exactly the same in all of their ingredients, except with the spagyrizomal, instead of just ethanol, organic 95% cane ethanol, we are using a completely organic spagyric tincture of lemon peel. And so we're really excited about that. In fact, today we just filtered the first batch of the spagyric tincture of lemon peel. So the spagyrizomal vitamin C will hit the shelves just about any time, probably most likely even by the end of the week. So we're really excited about that. Also along those same lines, we encountered something really interesting. This is the second year in a row that we've encountered an Enza Strawley issue with the manufacturing individual who is taking care of the vitamin C actually influencing the way that the product is made. So last year we had a problem with, I think it was Enza Strawley Mars, with both Noriana and Jared, to where they couldn't produce any liposomal vitamin C because every time they would dissolve the vitamin C in the boiling water and then let it cool, it would start to precipitate, which has never happened before or since we took care of that issue. What is really interesting though is that they both had the same Enza Strawley, and the same things would happen when they would actually make that product. Well, this year we had an issue with Jared again having Enza Strawley Neptune, and the volume was increasing by almost a perfect 1,000 milliliters every batch that he made. Now, I have overseen the process of them making this, double-checked things with my own eyes in both cases, and made sure that they were doing exactly the same things that I would do were I making it myself. So this wasn't an operator error. This wasn't like they measured out too much water or they put too much vitamin C in it. We even calibrated scales. We got rid of all of the variables. The only thing that accounts for this is that they each had an Enza Strawley issue when we were starting to see these things. So this is leading to new and groundbreaking research, actually, that the astral wellness of the operator, of whoever is performing the medicine making, has to be intact. Otherwise, there could be all sorts of different anomalies happening with the end product itself. And so I think, you know, in my experience formulating for Reckitt Benckiser and other different companies in the past, these types of things naturally happen. And when they do, what they end up doing is just firing the operator or coming up with a whole new formulation. And then you'll see like new and improved taste or something like that showing up on these labels because they've just changed the formulation. But they have entire teams of research and development formulators who are not at all the same people who are actually running the machinery to do the fulfillment. And so it's just an interesting way how I think that they encounter the exact same things. They just don't know what the root cause is, and they just end up making entirely new formulations anyway after a certain period of time. So this was really cool for us to see. This is 2 years in a row, 2 separate times with the exact same product at the exact same formulation, and seeing that there are different anomalies that can happen, with the only discrepancy that we've been able to find being the Enza Strawley of the operator. So that was really cool. Not cool to deal with, but very cool to be able to see that and to add potency to the concept that the medicine can only be as high a vibration and as good as the wellness of the operator is itself. So also we got a pharmaceutical freeze dryer. I'm performing a couple of R&D formulations for a couple of clients that require it, and so we ended up getting it in, and of course we've used it ourselves to preserve some of the foods from the garden and other things like that. So the freeze dryer has already proved to be immensely useful to us. I do have a couple of R&D projects that will be continuing to go on, including some projects here for us at the Phoenix Aurelius Research Academy in terms of taking water-soluble elixirs and actually freeze drying those as well to see if we can get them down into a really awesome powder, completely water-soluble product that is able to get all of the moisture out, store it really well, possibly even capsulize it, different types of things like that. So it's been really fun having that, and we're just barely scraping the surface, I think, of possibilities of things that we can create and formulate with that. September 11th, because we're in a severe drought here in Utah, all of the irrigation water was shut off. This is about a month early. So Noriana and myself a couple of times, but like 99% of it has been Noriana has been actually hand bucketing water from the hose out in the garage, our spring water, out to the garden and finishing it off for the rest of the season. As of the date of making this video, the garden is pretty much done. Next week, temperatures will be down in the 40s, especially in the evening, and so we'll have cold snaps and frosts and freezing, and so pretty much it's time to lay the garden to rest anyway. So it's been a little bit of extra work throughout the month of September in order to get it to this final finishing point by hand bucketing water, but aside from that, we're feeling pretty good about it. This year also concludes our agricultural research for the year, where we did really high input and high intensity ecodynamic growing methods that traditionally we've used for cannabis. There were a number of factors that came into play, such as being in a drought, different pests. We've had wild turkeys, we've had deer, we've had a number of different things come into the yard that have actually disturbed the growing season. We had tons of bugs as a result of the drought and tons of pests. We've been able to manage most of those with intrinsic data field technology, as well as with some of our manual inputs like foliar neem sprays and other things like that. But still, I'm not terribly impressed or even sold on the idea that this high input ecodynamic way of growing is good for all of the annuals in the same way that it is for cannabis. So while I stand behind that system for cannabis in particular, it doesn't necessarily translate over even to other nightshades or things that have similar requirements to cannabis, such as tomatoes, for instance. So next year we'll actually be doing an entirely different system using very particular microbes and humanure, human waste, treated composted human waste with microbes and wood chips, with very particular microbes to break everything down, get all of the heavy metal toxicity and other different pharmaceutical toxicities and other things out of the soil, and we'll be comparing that. In fact, that's the way that I started my work over 20 years ago when I was apprenticing with Perry Martin at Tyberry Farms. So I'm excited to bring that back and see how that holds up and how much more resilient things can be, because it looks like we'll probably be in a drought next year too. So that variable will remain the same. Most of these pests will probably still be here, maybe even more of them next year, so that will probably be the same, and it'll be really interesting to compare 3 years now of different agricultural methods and styles to see what is giving us the most produce, the least amount of work, the most moisture retention, the greatest porosity in the soil, the best nutrientization of the herbs that we have, and also being able to see the bricks content of various fruits and vegetables that are provided, and comparing all of those. So the last thing is I'm working on a lot of different custom formulation products now. I have 2 projects going for Dan Larson. We're working on a project for Dr. Dirk Jacobson. We've always got things going for Dr. Cowan and Dr. Kaufman. So we've got a lot of different projects going on. I'm not at liberty to tell you everything that I've been working on, but that should happen soon. There have been a couple of setbacks in the marketing on Dan Larson's side, from what I understand, that the products just aren't really ready to launch quite yet, but they will be very soon. I'm really excited about these formulations that I've been making though, and really excited to let you guys know about them when the time is right, but right now the time is not right. So I think that's really it. There's probably a lot more that has transpired, but for the time being, I think that pretty much covers it. As always, I want to thank all of you guys for purchasing products, for the Spagyric of the Month Club members in particular, who are constantly providing us income to be able to continue all of the work that we do. Everybody who supported our work through IDF over the last 4 or 5 years, and so on and so forth, to be able to make our work so productive. We're really just like a garden after about 3 or 4 years of working at this high intensity level, being able to see that, you know, we're getting into a rhythm with things and being able to make things a little bit more effortless in terms of the day-to-day work around here in order to get things done. And it wouldn't be possible without you. So thank you so much for believing in us and supporting us. We really appreciate you. And until next month, have a great one.